This week on the show, we talk about growing your own cannabis at home, Trump backing the cannabis industry, and should cities or counties be able to outlaw cannabis if it's legal in the state. My name is Tim Stromble. Welcome to Rooted. Welcome to the show. You know, growing up in California, I got to see the evolution of medical and recreational cannabis and their systems implemented at the state level. And what I always got confused about was how California as the state could have a legalized system, but then individual counties and cities could decide for themselves to make cannabis legal or illegal. Meaning you could be in San Diego County with legal cannabis and then cross over into San Bernardino County and be breaking the law. I always thought that seemed strange. So my question to you is, do you think states should be the end all when it comes to cannabis policy? Or do you agree that individual cities or counties deciding for themselves, no matter what the state says, should be the final answer? That's what I want to discuss on this week's Two Sides. On one hand, the states are opening the doors, instituting whatever level of cannabis legalization their state passes. And that's their only job, right? I mean, once the door is open and the regulations are laid out, it should be up to each individual city or county to decide whether or not to move forward with legalization themselves, right? I mean, this approach seems to make sense in larger states like California, where you have a good mix of liberal and conservative areas. That way, the more progressive spots who voted for legalization can have their win, while conservatives can sit back in their rocking chairs and talk about the good old days when grass cigarettes were outlawed, and then yell at local kids on skateboards as they pass by on the sidewalk, "Not in my country!" But seriously though, it's kind of a dick move to live in a state where the majority of people want one thing, and you're the only city or county who thinks they're too good for everyone else and wants to make it illegal. I mean, get with the times. This seems kind of backwards, right? Your state voted for it. Just go with it. On the other hand, I think the state should be the end-all decision maker and that cities and counties should have to follow what the state decides. After all, it's funny and it seems pretty hypocritical that you only see this in legal cannabis states where then counties outlaw cannabis in their area. You never see it the other way around, where cannabis is illegal in a state and then all of a sudden a city or a county makes it legal without the state being on board. You never see it. It seems like this scenario always plays out poorly for the evolution of the cannabis industry. That's why I want to get rid of it. I mean, take California, for example, where recreational cannabis began this year, but the black market continues to thrive because local county governments are refusing to grant cultivation or dispensary permits, and if and when they do, it comes with such a high price tag that very few can afford to play. Not to mention that each county comes up with their own rules and taxes, so now we have state rules and taxes, then county rules and taxes, and those rules don't always add up, creating more confusion and making it harder and harder for businesses to remain compliant, which then creates more law enforcement work and more revenue spent trying to get everyone on the same page. Overall, the whole letting the county or city decide for themselves thing is definitely doing more harm than good. I mean, at least in this scenario, I think each state should have the right to step in and institute one system across the board. It would simplify the entire process, create a more manageable workflow for tracking and compliance, and avoid confusing legal battles that only cost everyone a ton of money. So what do you think? Should states rule all cannabis decisions, or should the counties be able to decide for themselves? Hit up our Facebook page and comment your thoughts, and we'll share the results in a future episode. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the show. This week on the Rooted Podcast, we talk with Adam Bronstein, founder and owner of Oregon Grow Cabinets, a company that produces furniture-quality grow cabinets that are beautifully designed and ready to blend right into your home decor. Oregon Grow Cabinets offers an impressive selection of customizable features, including just about any type of wood you can think of for the outside of the unit. Super impressive. Now, I've seen some self-contained home-grown devices before, but this is the first time I've come across something with such a beautiful exterior that it could fit right into my living room and it would actually add to the decor instead of being an eyesore like some of the other units I've seen on the market. On top of all of that, these cabinets have many features on the inside that potential home growers should be really excited about. We talk about how Adam's talent for fine furniture making has evolved into cannabis cultivation cabinets, the technology inside of the cabinets itself, and the tough parts of getting a project like this off the ground. Here's a sneak peek.
I wanted to start home growing when it became legal here in Oregon. And there just weren't many options out there for me. I started doing some internet searches and looking for equipment. I wanted an off-the-shelf unit to put into my living room that would look nice. So there were some criteria, and nothing out there met that criteria. It had to be quality, and it also had to be serviceable. I wanted it to be a part of my daily life. I didn't want it to be in a back closet or a back room. I wanted it to be in my living space and something I could enjoy every day and interact with kind of on my way past it through the hall. There was nothing out there. So I thought, well, as a furniture maker, I could give this a shot. And I started building these things and was becoming more and more happy with the way they were turning out. Then friends and family started encouraging me to, maybe look into this. Maybe you're really onto something here. This is something that other people might want.
Be sure to hit up StayRooted.com for the full episode and hit up OregonGrowCabinets.com if you want to check out more of Adam's beautiful work or see how the machines operate for yourself. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Since we've been off these last couple of weeks, we want to get you caught up on some of the awesome podcasts you may have missed. In one of our latest episodes, we talk with Eric Schlissel, CEO of Geektek IT Services, a national IT cybersecurity firm out of LA, California. Eric is a big player and thought leader in the IT industry who has spoken extensively on data security issues facing the cannabis industry, most recently at the California Cannabis Business Conference and the New West Summit. Why are we talking about security on the show, you might be wondering? Well, there are a number of reasons, really. First, a young industry full of new technology and emerging systems, as you could imagine, would have security issues potentially, right? How big of issues? Well, you'll have to listen in to find out. Also, how secure is your information when you check into a dispensary? I've heard countless cannabis enthusiasts say that about the dispensary experience, and if you're one of the many people watching this on Cannabis Club TV, channel 404 mind you, then you're in a dispensary already, and probably one of those wondering how safe your data is. Let's see a sneak peek of this week's episode.
When you walk into a dispensary, you're rolling the dice, and you are looking at your trust in the operator of that dispensary. Is it being run out of a temporary location? Do the cameras look like they've been taped on the wall, or you have to judge it by its cover, unfortunately. There's no seal of approval, and that's something I would love to provide the industry, a seal of approval for all of the industry, for all of the dispensaries, for all of the systems, the back ends. We thought about creating that standard, and the problem is that so many of the owners don't care enough. And the ones that do, again, hierarchy of needs. Patients are not vocal about their desire for it in a way that's meaningful.
Don't forget to download and subscribe to the Rooted Podcast on iTunes or SoundCloud to get the latest episodes, and leave us a nice review if you like the show. We'd appreciate it. Lastly, before we get you out of here, we have to share with you our favorite thing this week, which comes to us from, and I never thought I would say this on the show, comes to us from President Trump. Say what you will about him, and I certainly know you will, but you have to consider this new development a great thing for the cannabis industry, as recently Trump has confirmed his commitment to letting individual states decide how to regulate cannabis themselves, instead of the federal government and that freaking troll Jeff Sessions trying to mess it up for everyone. Though there are a number of factors that likely led to this announcement, you'd have to give Colorado Senator Cory Gardner a ton of credit, as ever since Jeff Sessions rescinded the Cole memo, Gardner has been holding up Justice Department nominees, which of course was a big thorn in Trump's side. So Trump decides to do something rare for his presidency, and that's stick with the campaign platform. Boom! Got him. Trump said repeatedly on the campaign trail he was all about states' rights and policing cannabis, and now we have that confirmation. So this is my favorite thing for a couple of reasons. One, it's a long time coming, as the threat of federal action was an empty one, you'd have to say, since the DEA clearly lacks sufficient funding and manpower to police cannabis at any relevant level. And two, it's my favorite thing because Trump caved, which is something he rarely does and shows that he might be grasping at some straws for support, given all the current craziness surrounding his presidency. I mean, that makes sense. Only thing left for us to do is see if his word actually sticks and he truly leaves cannabis law enforcement to states' rights. That's going to do it for us on the show. But oh yeah, don't forget to hit up our buddies over at Genetic Threads, the cannabis industry's only monthly box club that teams up with breeders and cultivators to produce one-of-a-kind shirt designs specifically geared towards the average cannabis enthusiast. You. Be sure to hit them up at geneticthreads.com and use promo code ROOTED to get your first monthly box for only $5. No contracts, you can cancel anytime, and they offer monthly customization options as well. geneticthreads.com with promo code ROOTED. Also, quick reminder to hit up the social sites and stayrooted.com to check out more show content at Stay Rooted across the board. You can find us on social super easy. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube as well. Until I see you again, I'm Tim Stromble, reminding you to work hard, be humble, and stay rooted.